Hi, everybody. I'm Tonya Pizer. I'm the director of the Global Seminars program, and this is our first Global Seminars General Information session for fall quarter. I'm so glad you're here. We are going to give you a lot of general information about how to apply for global seminars, how the program works in general, financial aid and scholarships, etc. But we are going to have separate information sessions for each individual program with the faculty members who lead the program. And I want to encourage you to register for those as well. This session plus those program-specific sessions will give you the complete picture that you need in order to apply for a global seminar. I'd like to introduce the Global Seminars team. So like I said, I am the director of the program, and we have 3 coordinators, Lisa, Ellie, and Caitlin, who will be co-presenting with me. And they each manage a portfolio of programs. So they maybe one of them will end up being responsible for the program that you apply for and hopefully participate in this summer. But you may see any one of us on the team during drop-in advising. So I wanted you to meet everybody who is helping to run these programs. We are recording this session, and that is not so that we can post it anywhere publicly, but simply so that for people who registered for it but couldn't attend live will be able to get the recording, and you will also be able to get the recording afterwards in case you want to catch up on something to remember what we said. Please feel free to ask questions in the chat throughout the program and throughout the information session. And also, I would encourage you right now to go ahead and introduce yourself in the chat. You can say what year you are, your major, your college, and which program or programs you think you might be interested in if you have been exploring particular programs. We will answer the questions in the chat as we go, as well as out loud if we think that we want to include them in the recording. So here's the agenda for today's session. We are going to give an overview of the history and mission of the Global Seminars program, the structure of how the program works. We are going to talk about how to apply, the timeline for the application process during the academic year. We're going to talk about financial aid and scholarships, how to fund your program. You should approach this with the idea that there are a lot of funding resources available, and we're here to help you find those resources, not with the assumption initially that you can't go, because we're here to help you with that process. We will also give you some additional study abroad resources and a list of upcoming events that you might want to attend. So Global Seminars was created in 2008. I was in the office when it was created. It was created with the goal of making study abroad more accessible, because at that time, most study abroad programs had a GPA requirement. Many of them required you to have at least a 3.0 GPA. Many of them had a language requirement. Many had course prerequisites. So it wasn't that easy to be eligible to study abroad. And we believe that everyone should have the opportunity to study abroad as part of their time here at UC San Diego, and that it's one of the most valuable academic and personal and professional experiences you can have. We've all studied and traveled abroad extensively and know this in our hearts, that it's a really great thing to do as part of your life and as part of your academic experience. So global seminars are different from those other programs that had prerequisites. You only have to be in good academic standing with at least a 2.0 GPA, have no unresolved disciplinary issues at the university, and apply to a program while there's space in that program during our rolling application period in order to be able to go. These programs are great for people who don't have a lot of travel experience because you travel with a small group of students and a faculty member. You travel together during the summer. And so it's a very comfortable first taste of study abroad. And then later on, after you do a global seminar, if you want to do something more independent, then you have the confidence to do that. There's no language requirement for most of our programs. They're taught in English, except for a couple exceptions where they're specifically language programs. And financial aid and scholarships are available, as I mentioned before. Global seminars are going to give you a small group experience with a supportive faculty leader. We like to say that it's a UC quality experience, but with a small college feel, something that's very different from sitting in a big lecture hall on campus. And each program has embedded academic excursions, meaning that you are experiencing the course material on site through museums and historical sites and local experts in the subject area that you're learning about. So it's a much more experiential activity than sitting in a classroom during summer session. Let me give you a few more details of the structure of the program. Each program is 5 weeks long during either summer session 1 or summer session 2. And we have one program that's 8 weeks long, which is an internship program that begins at the beginning of summer session 1 and lasts for 8 weeks instead of 5. Each program contains 2 UCSD courses for a total of 8 quarter units in a 5-week summer session. So it's a very efficient academic experience, efficient way to spend your summer, getting ahead towards graduation. And like I said, all classes are taught in English except for our Barcelona program, which requires some Spanish background. Our Barcelona, one of our Barcelona programs, because we also have one in cognitive science that's taught in English. And we also have a program that is taught in sign language. We're offering 25 different programs for summer 2026, and I'll give you an overview of what those programs are in a minute. Each program has up to 28 participants, although some are capped at a lower level than that because of capacity or space in the area that we're going to, the classroom space or our program partners' facilities. So our smallest program has 20 students. The application period is November 1st to March 1st. So it's a rolling application, and one of my colleagues will tell you more about that application process in a minute. But it's basically a first come, first serve application. So makes it easy to get into programs as long as you apply while there's space. These are the programs that we're offering for summer 2026, and you can see more details about each of these programs, including syllabi for the 2 courses that are included in each program, and a bio for the professor or professors who are leading the program on our website, which just went live at the end of last week. We have a program in the field of architecture and design in Amsterdam, run through the Urban Studies and Planning Department. We have a business program, Italian Innovation through Design and Communication. We have 3 programs in different locations that offer Eleanor Roosevelt College Making in the Modern World credit. We have a few programs that offer geology, ecology, or marine biology type credit. We have 5 programs that are health related in one way or another, either offering public health or anatomy, biology type courses. We have a communication program in Oaxaca, Mexico, which is also going to offer credit for 8th college GE requirements, although it's not listed this way. We have a linguistics program in Paris. We have a couple of literature programs. The Barcelona program in this section is the one I mentioned that's taught in Spanish. We have 4 programs that help you meet your Revelle College humanities requirement. We have 3 programs that are connected to 6 College and CAT credit for 6 College. And we have a Warren College program in Madrid, Spain. So that's the overview. And like I said, you can see more details on our website. So now I'm going to turn over the presentation to who's doing the application process? Ellie?
Lisa.
Or is it Lisa? Sorry, to do
And
the
I'm
application
muted.
process.
All right, fix that.
So,
all right.
Yeah.
All right. You'll be able to figure out when to transition. No worries. All right. So I am very excited to tell you how to apply. But actually, I first want to address, and you can change the slide now, Tonya. Global Seminars is just one study abroad option among many for students at UC San Diego. So one thing you may want to do in this exploration phase is attend our office's Get Started info session. It's not required if you are already all in on a particular global seminar, since the Get Started session is designed to share the basics about the different types of programs, things to consider when selecting a program, budgeting, and more. We've scheduled several Zoom and in-person sessions during the academic year, but it's also available as a Canvas course. Next, thank you. So we have a detailed timeline on our website, but for the purposes of this presentation, I've just broken it down into 5 general phases before I mention a few key dates. So during exploration, you'll be looking more into study abroad and deciding which program is right for you. And at the end of the day, we would very much appreciate it if you would only create one application in Tritons Abroad. If you're worried about the competitiveness or popularity of a particular program, you can go ahead and reach out to us and we'll help you strategize what your primary application versus backup would be. The application phases are next. Now, there's a little bit of overlap with these 2 phases. Some students may be ready to submit the application while others are still exploring. When you switch from exploration to application is up to you as long as you don't miss any deadlines. So the pre-departure phase, basically, and I'll be talking about the actual application on the next slide, but the pre-departure phase basically starts March 2nd. So if you submit your application early, especially much earlier than that, we ask for your patience while our office continues our outreach and new processing of applications. We'll follow up in early March to review all what you can expect during the pre-departure phase, but it's a bit premature to really get into that for this presentation. The go abroad and return phases sort of speak for themselves. As Tony mentioned, global seminars are all summer programs, so you'll be abroad during summer, and then when you get back, you'll be in the return phase. So for the key dates, we accept applications on a rolling basis starting November 1st at midnight. There's an early bird deadline on February 1st to motivate students not to wait until the last minute. And then March 1st at 11:59 p.m. will be that main deadline. Now, that's also our very important withdrawal deadline. More on that later. A couple of other key dates for the pre-departure phase that a lot of students wonder about is when to enroll, which is mid-April. And we'll give only the approved applicants that permission to enroll in the course. We work with the departments on that. And then don't worry, the balance itself isn't due until a week before the program start date. More on that in the next section, as well as once we dig into the application or the pre-departure phase in several months. Next, Tonya, please. All right, so we're going to take this one by one. So we're going to talk about the standard global seminar application. Dublin internship applicants have additional element that will be addressed in that particular session. So you can create the Tritons Abroad profile anytime, though you won't be able to start the program-specific application until it opens on that November 1st date. UCSD students can log in using single sign-on, while non-UCSD students will need to create a brand new profile. First thing you're going to need to do is upload a copy of your unofficial transcript. Do not pay for an official transcript. That is not necessary. Tritons, you'll be able to actually access and upload your academic record from your Triton Link account. Easy peasy. For those in their first quarter, not yet, Tonya, for those in their first quarter, you can upload your academic record as is, totally blank. Sometimes it'll have some previous coursework on there. And then you'll just have to upload the updated one once you have that UC San Diego GPA, or your university GPA if you're at another institution. If you have a less than a 2.0, please upload any accompanying documentation to explain, or you can, if it's quite easy, you can address it in your statement. We'll also use your transcript to check on any prerequisites. Now, most GS programs don't have prerequisites, but a few do. So for those, keep in mind you need to complete them before departure, not before the time you apply. All right, now let's talk about that health screening form. So this provides for a physical and mental health clearance. So we are not medical professionals. So we're not making any determinations based on anything that a medical professional has signed off on. We just want to be aware of any concerns because, again, also because we're not medical professionals, we don't understand how some conditions might impact you. So we need you to be very clear about that, because our goal here is just to really support you. UCSD students are welcome and even encouraged to visit the student health services on campus. Whether you have the student insurance or not, you're able to go there. You just give them a call and they'll take it from there. If you have any trouble with that, please let us know. Right now, you'll actually be put in a holding tank and they'll make an appointment with you later in the term. But don't worry, I'm going to talk about what to do in that case for your application. If you prefer to go elsewhere, not Student Health Services, you will need to download the form available in Tritons Abroad and fill out your portions and then take it to your appointment to get it signed by the physician or medical health professional. Either way, you're the one who has to upload it to your Tritons Abroad application, whether you get it from Student Health Services portal, we don't have access to that, or directly from your physician. Now, if you have seen a mental health professional in the last 365 days, you will need a second signature from either them or CAPS or some other more accessible mental health professional. You cannot get one professional to sign both things for that, to sign both lines on this form. All right. Again, we aren't denying you participation if a professional signs off on it, but it will help us ensure that you have the support you need. This is very important. So please don't pretend you don't need that signature when you do. And then some of our programs require you visit a travel clinic. Now, that is going to delve into more health details than some of our other programs that don't require the travel clinic. Just usually, there are some additional health concerns in that area of the world that demand you have a deeper conversation. So that's why there's that second appointment. For those, we do recommend that you, we highly recommend you go through Student Health Services, but again, it's not required. All right. Oh, and so if you are if your appointment is a ways out, please just upload a confirmation that you've made the appointment. Then update us if that changes. What this allows us to do is we can review your application. You can submit the application, we can review it, and we'll talk about the next steps on that in the next slide. All right, we also need you to upload a copy of your passport identity page. Kindly make sure to sign it first for some people with new ones haven't signed it yet. Non-US passport holders will also need to upload their visa or permanent residency card. If you are getting a new or renewed passport, upload a passport application receipt. The date on that will let us know roughly when we can start nudging you about uploading the actual passport. Now, don't upload the expiring passport because it won't have the necessary information that we need. And do not upload the passport application itself. We don't want to see your social security number. All right. Next is the statement of purpose. and the Judicial Affairs Agreement and jumped ahead. So the exact prompt will be in the application, but basically we just want you to explain why this particular global seminar is a good fit for you and your goals. We also want some type of confirmation that you are resilient enough to study abroad away from your support system. Now, this should roughly be 400 to 500 words. If you submit a very short essay, we will make you rewrite it and resubmit it so that it's longer, and that just means it's going to take longer for you to do that and for us to approve your application. So if you could write the 400 to 500 words the first time, that would be cool. All right. The Judicial Affairs Agreement is so we can ensure you're a student in good judicial standing. UCSD students just have to check the box and will reach out directly to your College Dean of Student Affairs. Non-UCSD students will need to download a form to be signed by their campus's office that's responsible for student conduct. Now, not everything is cause for concern. Don't worry if all you had is a noise complaint in your dorm room as a freshman. That's not something that's going to bar you from participation. But let's say you attacked someone, true story, or have multiple substance use violations, true story, and are going someplace where it's highly illegal and you would be jailed if caught with that substance. That's something we'll need to follow up with. If you have a little ding on your judicial report, don't let that keep you from applying. It's still highly likely that we can accept you, given depending on what the actual issue is. For the waiver and policy forms, these are so important to review. Please don't forget this. Your electronic signature is legally binding. We can't accept, you can't say Allie's going to delve into it's a very important policy. Okay. And then last but not least, there is a $250 non-refundable deposit that is due in order for you to submit your application. Don't pay it until you're roughly ready to submit. It's technically not an application fee because it actually goes towards the program cost that you would ultimately be charged. And it's only refundable if we can't accept you. That is why it is called the non-refundable deposit. All right, once you submit that application, you might be wondering what happens next. So 99% of applicants are perfectly eligible. So it's not going to be like your UC applications where you were sent an offer that you had to accept. Once you hit submit on the global seminar application, oh yeah, space is saved for you. That said, we still have to do some due diligence on our end to make sure you get to keep that spot. So while your application status is in pending, we are processing it behind the scenes. It can take your college's Dean of Student Affairs anywhere from a couple days to a couple weeks to confirm your judicial standing. Non-UCSD students, if you don't get that form sent in, you'll be stuck in pending status indefinitely. Once those judicials are confirmed, the GS team will review your application and Tritons Abroad and either reach out to you with follow-up questions or to let you know your new status. The first is we will approve you conditionally if your application is missing one of the following final documents. As explained in the previous slide, your passport, health form, or transcript, and any course prerequisites are all essential but kind of flexible aspects of the application so that will allow you to submit and confirm your spot while you're just waiting on an appointment that's coming around in a couple of weeks. So if any of these things aren't available at the time of your application and we conditionally accept you, you're going to submit those documents in a timely manner so we can update your status to approved. So once everything is in and meets the requirements, your application will be approved. But again, please be patient on pre-departure steps until March, since we're still doing information sessions and processing applications. And finally, a quick note about wait lists. Once a program has filled, since we accept applications on a rolling basis, or sometimes if it is close to filling, we'll just reach out to any incomplete applications about how that will work and what the next steps are. So that's not something we need to worry about in September. And now I will pass it on to Ellie.
Thanks, Lisa. Well, hi everyone. I'm so excited you're here. You've made it halfway through the presentation on a Tuesday, so we're excited that you're here. Also, my Wi-Fi has been a bit spotty, so if you lose me for a bit, I'm just gonna have to log back on. But I'm sure you've all been experiencing this this week. So the next topic is going to be fees and funding options. So I'll go into more about this. I know a lot of you have questions on financial aid and scholarships, so we're going to dig more into the program fees. So how we like to describe the fees are in 3 different buckets. So the first bucket would be the summer session tuition fee, right? Because you are taking summer session courses. So just like you would be paying summer session tuition if you were taking summer session classes on campus, you'd be doing the same for the global seminar programs. So these fees would be the same. So they would be estimated $2,520 for UC San Diego students. As we mentioned, the cost might be different for visiting students or non-UC San Diego students, and those students can contact us to learn more. The second bucket, because you won't be on campus, you'll actually be in an amazing new country, new location, city, so that comes with extra costs, right? So the program fee is going to range for each program, because obviously there's going to be different locations, different programs include different overnight excursions, so some don't have as many. So the program fee, this varies between $4,000 to $8,000 in addition to the summer session tuition and fees. And so we're finalizing the contracts right now. We're working as hard as we can to get these up on the program website pages. Once we do have them up, you'll be able to see on the website the different. Oh, Katie, I'm just going to mute you real quick. You'll be able to see the program cost per program. So as I mentioned, it's going to include the housing. So all your housing will be included, on-site support. So you're going to have a whole, sadly, we won't be able to join you on these programs. We wish we could. You'll have the faculty there with you, but you'll also have a whole on-site team through one of our on-site international partners. So you're going to have a whole team of support there. And then excursions, many of the programs have really wonderful academic and overnight excursions that will be included in your program costs. You don't have to pay extra for that once, this is all included in the program fee. And then a lot of programs also include local transportation cards. And this will be also listed on the website. The websites will have all of these details per program. So that's the best resource to see if your program of interest has this. And then also classrooms. So you're going to have classroom facilities. The classrooms are taught at a local university, and then some we rent classroom spaces, or the on-site provider has a classroom space. So that's just going to vary per program. And then also insurance. You're actually going to be double insured because you'll be insured through UC San Diego and then also through our on-site partner. So you'll have a lot of protection in that sense. And then the last bucket is the third bucket of finances. So this is personal expenses. So you'll be booking your own plane tickets. Once in spring with pre-departure, we'll provide more information then. So that's going to range per person of when, where you're flying out of. A lot of students might go to back to their home city, fly out of there versus San Diego or most don't. Most programs just include the welcome meal and a farewell meal, and then some overnight excursions will have meals, but that again will be listed on your program page. And then passport. So if you don't have a passport and you need to apply for a passport or you need to renew your passport, that's a personal expense that you need to consider. And then also ETIAS and visas. So if you need a visa for your respective country or program, you're going to need to pay for that as a personal expense as well. So all 3 of these buckets combined together is what you should factor in terms of overall program cost. And again, this is broken down on each program page. Next, Tonya. Thanks. All right, so billing, timeline, and policies. So due at the time of your application, when you apply, you'll submit a $250 non-refundable deposit. it's not just going to go nowhere. This is actually going to be applied to your program fee on your summer session tuition bill. So this deposit will be applied to your overall program cost. You're only going to be refunded this deposit if your program is canceled for any reason. So sometimes a program gets canceled if it doesn't meet the minimum of the 15 student enrollment, or, there's risk management considerations with the program location, etc. So if that's canceled, you'll be refunded any kind of out of control reasons. And then also if your program's not, or if your application's not accepted. However, as Lisa mentioned, our eligibility requirements are pretty clear, and they're on our website. So you have a good idea of if you're going to get accepted or not. And if there's any things you have questions about, any personal questions about your acceptance due to maybe your health or things like that, you can meet with one of the advisors to talk through that. But you should have a pretty good idea based on your eligibility if you'll be accepted. And then so March 1st, not only is it my birthday, but it's also really important because this is our withdrawal deadline. And what's really important about this date is after this date, as Lisa mentioned, is you submit your application, and if the program's not full, boom, you have a spot. That means that you are financially responsible for committing to this program unless you withdraw before March 1st. So if you don't withdraw before March 1st and you decide you don't want to go in the program later and it's after March 1st, you're still financially responsible for the entire program fee. So as I mentioned, bucket 1 and bucket 2, unless you've already bought your flight tickets. So very, very important. If you're going to remember anything from this this presentation, it's about this withdrawal deadline. We don't want you to be in a situation where you can't afford to go on a program and you miss this deadline. So we will be sending lots of communications about this as well, but I want to make that very, very clear. And then again, if you withdraw before March 1st, you just will lose the $250 deposit. So, and then 2 Fridays before the program, financial aid, if you receive financial aid, this will be just distributed 2 Fridays before the program. So you will have that financial aid to help pay for the program. And then Monday before the program is the remaining balance due. So those are some key dates to know. Next slide, please. All right, so some great financial resources. So we're creating budget calculators. So if we're still working on these because we're finalizing the budgets, but if you go on the Global Seminar website, there'll be a budget calculator section, which Lisa worked on, and it's a really amazing tool. So you can put in the different program costs for the program that you're interested in, and you'll have a good sense of what the overall cost is in terms of budgeting for your program. And then there's a lot of scholarship opportunities. I'll go over that in the next slide. But for scholarship essay writing tips, we have a resource page for this. And then we actually have scholarship writing workshops that will give more information on. Usually that's in winter quarter when we offer those. And then for extra essay help, there's Oasis, the Writing Hub, and the URH. So definitely utilize all the amazing resources on campus. And these are just a few. All right, next slide. Okay, so to contact financial aid and scholarships office. So what's really great is we have an amazing colleague. His name is Eduardo Malagan, and he is the financial aid study abroad advisor. So you can meet with him once we have all the estimates up. You can meet with him one-on-one to determine how much financial aid you're eligible for this summer to be applied for your program, any scholarships, grants you're eligible for. So he is an amazing resource, and I'll go more in some sessions that he's going to offer later on. But how to contact him, it's primarily through the financial aid and scholarships office. If it's about study abroad, it's going to be forwarded to him. So if you follow this arrow, you'll just go to submit a question, and it'll take you to that portal where you can do that. You can also submit us a VAC if you can't find this, and usually we'll send you a link, or he can reply to you on there. But we prefer to go through that link. All right, so in terms of financial aid, so there's addition to financial aid, if you're eligible for the summer, there's also summer Pell Grants and UCSD grants available depending on your financial need. And Eduardo can also meet with you to go over what you might expect in terms of grants this summer. Later on, he'll go on the timing that you can meet with him. It's too early right now. And then there's also residual loans, so subsidized, unsubsidized, and Parent Plus loans. So these are great options to help fund your trip. if the financial aid or grants don't cover enough of the program fee. And then lastly, the CalVet fee waiver. So if this is applicable to you, then the CalVet fee waiver can be applied to global seminar programs, which is great. All right, so Eduardo, this is our amazing colleague. He, again, is specialized in financial aid and study abroad. So he's actually going to host a financial aid and scholarship information session. So the first one is going to be Wednesday, October 29th from 3 to 4. The registration link is on here. It's also on the study abroad events page. So you could just refer to the events page too to find the link. We also put a link to the recording from last fall. Obviously, the dates are going to be different, but the overall information is going to be very similar. And then other study abroad financial aid sessions coming up. There is one on Wednesday, October 1st, and then Tuesday, October 28th, and then Wednesday, November 19th. So those are all other study abroad related, but the global seminar specific one is on the 29th. All right, scholarships. So this is one of my most favorite things to talk about in terms of finances and support to go abroad. So definitely apply to scholarships. There's money to be given out. So please just take the chance and the time to apply, because it's really impactful to help students be able to go abroad and on these amazing experiences. So first is the Study Abroad Office Scholarship. So this is various amounts. So the main one is the Chancellor Study Abroad Scholarship, which is $5,000. So there's two deadlines to be aware of. The first is early February, and this is the early decision. This is what I recommend everyone to do, because that way you'll know by the March 1st withdrawal deadline if you received a scholarship or not. That means if you're depending on a scholarship to go abroad, you'll know by the deadline if you received one or not, so you can withdraw and only lose the $250 versus being responsible for thousands of dollars. You could, if you miss that deadline, you could apply early March. However, again, you're going to figure out after the deadline if you received a scholarship. So that's the Chancellor Study Abroad Scholarship, and the requirements would be financial need, but not necessarily financial aid eligible. So this is just, and then to clarify, I know there's a few different notes under the Study Abroad Scholarship. So you'll apply to one scholarship and we'll consider you for all of these. And you could be awarded more than one. So we'll see what college you're in, and some colleges have specific scholarships. So you'll just apply once, and we'll review your application for all of these. And then our second biggest scholarship is the Kathleen Deno Scholarship. And this is a $3,000 scholarship. She's an amazing donor who just values the Global Seminars experiences and seeing how impactful it is for students. So we're really grateful for her. This is another early February deadline. It's a planning scholarship. So the requirements for this scholarship is to be a continuing student and have leadership experience, and then a 3.0 GPA minimum. And this is usually about 10 students who get the scholarship. And then lastly, outside of UC San Diego, there is nationwide scholarships. And UC San Diego is one of the top recipients of the Gilman Scholarship, which is really exciting. So this is a $3,000 scholarship. It's due early March. The requirements are to be a U.S. citizen and a Pell Grant recipient. And then we also have scholarship writing workshops that I mentioned before, and they're usually tailored for the Gilman Scholarship because that's the gold standard of scholarships. But if you know how to write for the Gilman, you'll be able to write for any study abroad scholarship. So that is definitely another one to keep aware of. And then we have an amazing scholarship database on our website. So you can actually peruse through there. You can see the amounts, the eligibility, the due dates, because I know this is a lot of information, but that is all on our website too. And the scholarships aren't open yet, but we'll definitely be sending out a lot of emails once they are. So feel free to keep checking in, usually, but especially once they get closer to the end of fall quarter. All right, and now it's Caitlin.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. We're nearing the end here, so I'm just going to finalize everything with events and how to prepare, and then we'll open it up for Q&A. Just a forewarning, my Wi-Fi has been a little bit spotty, so I may turn off my camera at some points. So I apologize if I freeze. But I am Caitlin Parra. I'm one of the Global Seminars coordinators, and I'm going to be managing most likely the Dublin internship program, Milan, Amsterdam, Madrid programs, Granada, Switzerland, and South Africa. So I'll likely be working with you if you're interested in any of those. So just jumping into prep for success. So what we recommend at this time is discussing your plans to study abroad next summer with your support network, talking with your family members, letting them know that you're interested, maybe going over the program page together. Next step would be to attend the program specific information sessions we mentioned. So we have a Global Seminars calendar that lists all of the info sessions for all of our 25 programs. Most of them will be taking place throughout October, some in early November. And then speaking with your advisors, so depending on what program you're interested in and the courses you're planning to take, that'll be your major, minor, or college advisor. We do not recommend taking remote courses while you're doing a global seminar because it's very intensive. You're going to have a time difference, and you'll also be working and traveling as you're on your program. So it's very difficult to manage, so we don't recommend it. We also recommend finding backup options for the summer, just in case, as Ellie mentioned, there is a 15 student minimum. So if the program doesn't meet that minimum for some reason, it's good to have a backup option just in case for your summer plans. For airfare, please wait to purchase your flights until actually confirmed in the spring, usually around March or April. And then we also recommend before applying to review our cancellation policy and withdraw deadlines. I included a sheet here on the right-hand side that you'll see of kind of what the timeline looks like. Ellie went over that with the withdrawal deadline of March 1st, as did Lisa. And if your program is canceled, as we mentioned, you won't be charged and you will receive a refund of that $250 deposit. All right, next slide. So going over the diversity and identity resources, we have a lot of resources available for students from all different types of backgrounds looking to study abroad. So we highly recommend checking out our page. The diversity and identity page is part of the Study Abroad website, and you can find identity-based student stories, reflection questions to ask yourself before you go, as well as tips to consider so you can feel prepared going into a different country, especially if it's your first time traveling outside of the US. And then we also have a video series led by one of our other study abroad programs, UCEAP, and it's really helpful for all study abroad programs, so we recommend checking it out. They have amazing workshops about exploring your identity, and that can be for women abroad. They had a first generation workshop, LGBTQIA+, disability accommodation. So there's a wide range of video series that you can check out based on what you're hoping to gain out of your program and bringing your identity with you abroad. We also wanted to highlight the Global Seminars blog because this is another way to learn from students who maybe have similar backgrounds as you on their experience. And these are first-hand accounts written by our students. All of these are photos that our students have taken and included on the blog. So we highly recommend taking a look at this blog. And you can also contact these students or get in touch with us and be put in touch with alumni from these programs. All right, so how to reach us. So the best way to contact us is through the Virtual Advising Center. We recommend sending a question to Study Abroad, or you can stop by Drop-In Advising. And our virtual drop-in advising is Monday and Thursdays from 1 to 3 p.m. and Fridays from 10 to 11:30 a.m. If we host in-person events, which we do occasionally, they are hosted in the UC 409 Dance Hall, especially our Get Started session. So if you haven't done a Get Started session yet and want to learn generally about study abroad and how it works, you can check out our events calendar on our website for those in-person events. And then, as we mentioned earlier, if you know of any non-UCSD students who are interested in doing this program with you, let's say a different UC or just a different college, please have them contact us at globalseminar@ucsd.edu, and we can send them more information about how that works. All right, so we did want to highlight Get CCR. GetCCR stands for Globally Engaged Triton's co-curricular record. And this is an opportunity for students to be involved internationally on campus, and it's formally goes on your academic record. So it's a great way to get the experience working internationally, whether that's with our international global coffee hours, even attending this info session today could count towards your hours. And that way you can add this to your resume. You could use this as a talking point in job interviews. So we did want to highlight this, especially if you're returning from your program and want to get involved with the international community. All right. So nearing the end here, we do have some fall events coming up. As I mentioned, we have 25 individual global seminar information sessions. So they're called Meet the Professor. You'll hear firsthand from the professor of the program on what to expect course-wise, scheduling, excursions, and you'll be able to ask questions to the professor directly before you apply. We also have financial aid information sessions, as Ellie mentioned. So end of October, we'll have the global seminar specific one. We're also hosting our Study Abroad Expo Fair. So please stop by to get more info and get some goodies from us and treats. That'll be Thursday, October 23rd from 10 to 2 p.m. at Town Square. And you can find more events again on our Study Abroad events calendar. And here, just going back really quickly, if anyone wants to scan this QR code, this will take you to our website that talks more about our calendar and the Expo Fair. So feel free, we'll give you a few seconds here to scan, and you can register for that as well. Awesome. And then we also have an Instagram I want to shout out. So it's Study Abroad UCSD. If you follow us on there, we also post our events there so you can stay connected with us. All right. That is the end of our Global Seminars presentation today. We're going to open it up for questions. Thank you all for being so attentive and asking questions in the chat. If you have any questions you want to ask verbally, you're welcome to do so now, and we'll open it up to you all.